let me tell you a story that might change how you think about peace and quiet. My name's Gregory. Last December, I was home alone for an entire week. My girlfriend was away for the holidays, so I thought I'd enjoy some well-deserved rest. I live in a quiet neighborhood up in upstate New York. Most folks disappear for Christmas. That left me with the whole street to myself. At first, it felt cozy. But then, things got unnerving. It all started on my second night alone. Around 6:30 p.m., with snow blanketing the yard, I was cooking a simple dinner. That's when I heard it, a strange singing outside. I muted the TV and realized it was a man singing Jingle Bells right on my front stoop. This wasn't the cheerful caroling you'd expect. This guy was fixated, staring down at my welcome mat. He was singing slowly, off-key, like a broken record. I forced a smile, thinking maybe he was just some confused holiday caroler. But then he kept looping the same song, his gaze locked dead on me. When I finally shut the door, the music didn't stop. It came from my driveway. He stood there silently, like some eerie sentinel, as if waiting for something, when I told him to leave and threatened to call the cops. He didn't move. Later, as I went to bed, that same chilling voice appeared in my backyard, staring right up at my window. I warned him again, and suddenly he sprinted to the back door. Then he started screaming a demonic, guttural sound and pounded with all his might, trying to break in. My heart was pounding. I locked myself in my closet, called 911, and grabbed a baseball bat. The cops finally showed up. They found his footprints leading into the woods, but that was it. The police didn't seem too eager to follow him, saying, "People act strange all the time." That night, I learned just how horrifying a home-alone nightmare can really be. But that's not where my collection of scary Christmas stories ends. When I was 6, I had a terrifying run-in that left me scared of large crowds and basketball arenas for years. It happened at a Mavericks game with my parents. A strange man came up to me, saying I was lost. Then he took me up to the top levels, claiming he wanted to use the intercom to find my parents. But when no one showed up, he tried to lure me toward the emergency stairs. Panic set in as I remembered stranger danger, and I ran away, heart racing. Later, as we drove home, the same man appeared in a truck behind us. He wasn't alone. There were 3 shadowy figures with him. My parents yelled, but they just stared. Then, in the dead of night, that man shined a flashlight right into my bedroom window. I screamed, but my parents found nothing, and they dismissed it. Every New Year's Eve since that night, I feared the haunting presence of that man, the Santa Claus Stalker. He showed up, claiming to bring gifts. But later, he left a chilling note promising we'd meet again. That experience didn't just scare me once. It carved a deep fear of strangers and a lasting unease every New Year's Eve. It was another Christmas, years later, when my family decided to cut down a real Christmas tree up in the mountains. Something we'd always wanted to do. The night was cold and eerie, with snow crunching underfoot. We had flashlights and an axe, ready to make a festive memory. But as we went deeper into the woods, a man appeared. He was pale, with a hungry look, dressed too lightly for the cold. He moved in a way that made every hair on my arms stand up. Then he smiled, an unsettling smile, and began following us quietly, but steadily. When we tried to rush back, we found both of our right tires had been slashed. Trapped and scared, with a child in tow, we called 911, but the reception was spotty. Then, out of nowhere, several shadowy figures appeared near the tree line. They moved slowly, saying, "We're here to help," but they didn't seem friendly at all. The police finally arrived just in time, chasing those figures away into the dark woods. This encounter left us shaken, haunted by the thought that strangers were stalking our family in those woods. What should have been a magical holiday turned into a Christmas tree, family-stalked nightmare. When I was 9, I was home alone for a little while before Christmas. Then, late at night, the doorbell rang. Standing outside was a man dressed as Santa Claus, but not the kind you'd expect. He wasn't jolly or friendly. He held a clipboard and stood way too close to the door. He pretended he had gifts, but his eyes told a much darker story. I told him to leave, but when the doorknob started twisting, and then the back door followed, cold terror gripped me. I called my mom, who rushed home just in time. The man vanished, but his presence lingered in my mind. That night, I learned a harsh lesson about trust and stranger danger, forming yet another chapter in my real-life horror stories. Each of these tales, Christmas caroler horror, Child Abduction Attempt, Stalked in the Woods, Santa Claus Stalker, and more, remind us just how thin the line is between holiday cheer and real fear. They're not just stories, they're warnings. If you ever find yourself alone or face someone who makes you uneasy, trust your instincts. Lock your doors, call for help, and don't let your guard down just because it's the holiday season. Remember, sometimes the most unsettling threats come wrapped in the quietest packages. Stay safe out there, and if anything feels wrong, it probably is. Don't become the next scare story. Stay vigilant, protect your loved ones, and keep your doors locked tight.
Cold. Horror story.